Hello, hello, Heather Jean here. I'm so excited to be here with you and share confidence with a cup of coffee. Actually, I'm recording this in the evening, so I'm kind of done with caffeine for today. But welcome wherever you're joining from and whatever point you're joining at, and enjoy a cup of coffee while we talk about this week's podcast. So, Confidence Through Cabaret, the podcast, you can find that anywhere where you get your podcasts, or you can check out the vodcast playlist on the Confidence Through Cabaret YouTube channel. So wherever you're joining us from, leave a comment, leave a like, and subscribe and review. And you'll also find Confidence Through Cabaret on all of the socials as Confidence Through Cabaret. We have a wonderful, uplifting, supportive community. And in there, we do lives and we do challenges and posts. And we really kind of aim to share confidence tips and confidence difficulties, because confidence is, of course, a journey. It's not a destination, and it's not a straight road. It's ups and downs and highs and lows. And our aim in Confidence Through Cabaret is to make it so that we recognize when we're heading into the lows, we don't go as low and we don't stay down as long. We come back up with momentum. And that's the point of having unshakable confidence, is that we're developing that set of tools, those practices, so that we can really, uplift our confidence. And whether that's your confidence in your personal life or your work life or your stage life, whatever your stage is, then we aim to uplift it. So we all have confidence in some areas of our life, and we have less confidence in other areas of our life at different times. And what I always say is start from where you're strong, and start from where you have that foundation, that strength of confidence, and then look to use those transferable skills, tools, practices to uplift the areas of confidence that you want to grow confidence in. So it's not really about always learning something new. Like, I need to get confidence in my stage life, which might be your socials, going live or even putting up posts. And then you can think about, so where do I express myself with confidence? And how do I do that? Where is that in my body? What am I telling myself? What's my state of mind, in other words? And then we can transfer that state of mind and apply it to, let's say, your social life, your socials life, and going live or leaving comments and so on. You just adjust this light a little bit. So we seem to have a big beam of light coming through for us. Okay, so perfectly imperfect, always perfectly imperfect. And, a lot of times when we're thinking about confidence, it's about how we define our terms. So what is perfect for you? I can honestly say to myself, I am perfect because I'm perfectly imperfect. I know where my imperfections are. I know where my goals are, where I need to keep growing and where I need to gain momentum and strength. And that for me is what is perfect. It's the perfect timing. It's the perfect way to show up, and we're all doing our best, and that's perfectly imperfect. Other things that we need to define for ourselves are things like success. There is success in every moment, but what is success for you? And if success for you is about perfection, is about knowing absolutely everything, then I guarantee you, your imposter voice will start to kick in and go, I don't know everything. I need to know more. I need to, do more courses, or have more certificates, or learn more from others, and you could perpetually be in a learning cycle where you're not actually doing anything. So always aiming to be learning and growing, yes, but not so that you're paralyzed and not able to do the things that you want to be able to do, and share the things you want to be able to share. And we always are talking, because it's Confidence Through Cabaret, about taking up space and owning your stage. And unapologetically is the condition to that. So we show up unapologetically. So in Confidence with Coffee, we share takeaways from the latest podcast. This week's podcast is Elona Lopari, and we talked to Elona about, scaling and growing your business and following your mission to share offers that you're really aligned to. And so we talked about a lot of different things. We talked about our definition of success. We talked about, kind of corporate life versus online business. We talked about feminine versus masculine energy. We talked about what it means to be whole. And we talked a lot about mindset and affirmations. And I asked Elona, what does it mean to her to be a badass? So let's have a listen to what she says.
Ooh. For me, badass is someone that has defined all their limits, defined all their fears, and is really constantly evolving. So that's why that word really identifies and resonates with my brand, because it's someone that's driven by the mission and is constantly moving forward and scaling their business to the next level for the most impact. But of course, every new level you go into, you have to really, evolve and really put yourself in a different level, but never to be afraid of that, and just keep growing and growing until you realize your limitless potential. I don't think we'll ever reach our potential in our lifetime. So that's what badass means to me.
Ah, yes, so many elements. So many elements, sorry, to being a badass. Defining our fears. So again, there's that definition. Excuse me for a second. Sorry. There's that definition of, what are our fears? And I've just done a masterclass in Confidence Through Cabaret around, kind of really diving into your beliefs and finding out what your fears are. So for example, if your belief is that you have to be perfect in order to show up, then what are your fears, and what are you afraid of, and really getting into that, and then being able to shift those fears and take action. And continue with habits that are sustainable instead of ones that are just kind of, if you're trying to willpower your way through something, let's say maybe it's an exercise regime or weight loss, or trying to do something just out of sheer willpower, it doesn't last. It's not sustainable, it's not permanent. And so really kind of getting behind our fears, knowing what those are, and working through those, changing our beliefs to be able to support us, not just accepting the programming that you have from your childhood and adulthood, but actually getting into the beliefs and defining and designing the beliefs that you want to have. And it's interesting because it's so rarely talked about with this. We get to redefine our beliefs when we're adults. Like, how cool is that, right? We get to define our own beliefs. And we don't talk about it enough, which means that we often don't get into those beliefs. So go check out confidencethroughcabaret.com. It's a member site. There are loads of masterclasses. There's a new one that goes up every month for personal life, work life, and stage life, offered by loads of experts. I have done several masterclasses myself. There's workbooks that go along with every masterclass so that you can do the work yourself. And there's some workshops in there as well. We have a movement in your body workshops. We have makeup workshops, which isn't about doing your makeup perfectly. It's more about playing and finding ways to express ourselves, and what difference it makes when we show up in different ways and in different energies to really kind of find that confidence. We have a workshop in body confidence. We've got all kinds of different, go check out confidencethroughcabaret.com, join us in there, and then join us in the Confidence Through Cabaret community and share your takeaways from the masterclasses that you enjoy the most. So just back to this, what does it mean to be a badass? Yes, defining your fears. And Elona was also talking about constantly evolving. And that was a theme in this week's podcast, because, it's not just about, oh, I've arrived, ta-da. It's about, okay, so what's my next step? And it's a journey. It's always a journey. And it's really probably never reaching our limit, our full potential. It's never really kind of coming up against a barrier and stopping. It's never reaching a destination and stopping. It's never stopping effectively. And so being able to scale, being able to come across with the impact that you want to come across, and not being afraid of what seem like limitations. And I'll give you some examples. I have coached a lot of people in how to make their podcast or even their Facebook groups. And they'll say, oh no, I have to have everything. Like I have to have the right equipment. I have to have the right branding. I have to have the right guests. I have to the right topic. I have to have the right platforms and hosts. I have to be on all of the platforms. You don't. You don't. You start off with something simple and you build from there. I mean, even I'm on StreamYard right now. Even using StreamYard, we started off without all of the branding, without all of the banners, without all of the, scheduling techniques and so on. I just learned a whole bunch of new scheduling techniques on StreamYard yesterday, and I've been using this for over a year. But if I'd have tried to show up perfect right away, knowing everything there is to know, getting it all right and doing it all properly the first time, it would have taken me that whole year just to figure it all out and not actually do anything. And I've had a year of practicing and trying and growing and evolving instead of a year of research. So you understand that when you want to be a badass, you've got to get out there. You've got to be willing to make the mistakes. You've got to be willing to put yourself out there, and you get to learn and grow through that journey. And you get better and better, and gradually you really get masterful at whatever it is that you practice. So whatever we practice, we get good at. And when we practice the right things, we get good at the right things. So anything that you have practiced, you will get good at, whether those are bad habits or whether those are good habits. So for example, if you think about, when you maybe first tried coffee, or if you're an alcohol drinker, when you first tried that, it didn't taste nice, but we practiced it and we get good at it, right? And so those are bad habits. Well, I say bad habits in inverted commas, but those are things that are not necessarily ideal for us, especially to excess. So whatever you've practiced, you got good at. So if you practiced, I don't know, driving with rage when somebody annoys you, then you'll get good at that, and you'll have a lot of road rage. But if you practice being calm and saying, oh, that person's in a hurry, they must have somewhere to go. Okay, fine. Let them go in front of me. Okay, fine. Let them, take the risks or whatever it is. Then you get to drive calmly, and you get to be safe. And those are good habits, or those are certainly safer habits. And it's the same with anything. If you start a podcast, yeah, there might be some ums and some hms. And yes, you can edit it, and you'll get good at editing, and you'll get good at, but you'll get good at, having more flow and more momentum in your speaking style. But just give yourself that space to grow and not reach your limits. There isn't an end goal where there's the perfect. It's step by step. And we start out by crawling, and then we start out by walking, and then we move on to running, and then we move on to soaring, and really being able to unapologetically take up our space. It's a process. And if you think about anything that you've learned, if you learned to read, if you learned to walk, if you learned to dance, if you learn whatever it is, you practice, you incrementally improve, and you get good. And what we want at Confidence Through Cabaret is for you to get good at feeling great in your space, at owning unapologetically your space, at being a badass, right? At not fearing limitations, at not fearing competition, at not fearing failures, because they're all great opportunities. There is success in every moment. And something that we all need to get better at typically is celebrating the successes. So that needs to be a habit as well. That needs to be something that we keep practicing. So maybe the live didn't go how you wanted it to, or, people didn't show up, or you didn't sell anything. But if you keep going, if you keep practicing, you'll get better at it. And eventually you'll master it, and you will get the results you desire, because we're always getting results. It's just getting the results that you desire. And that takes time. That's a work in progress. And that's the crawl, walk, run, and then soar. I love having you here on Confidence Through Cabaret. It's so supportive to be surrounded by people who are honest and vulnerable and sharing and caring. And it's a real pleasure. Please leave a comment about your takeaways from the podcast episode or from this discussion. If there's things that you want to ask, if there's things that you want to comment on, if there's things that you want to share, please do. It helps everyone. So enjoy, be a badass, scale and grow in whatever way serves you. Offer your services, offer your ideas, information. You deserve it. And we deserve to hear those ideas and those inputs, and it helps us all to grow. And so slowly, we all get to grow. And it's a journey together. You're not alone. You're supported fully here. And thank you for being here. I am Heather Jean, and I am reminding you that it is your body, and it is your world, and it is your stage. Take up space and own it. Bye for now.